everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video we are doing a very easy everyday makeup tutorial which is for beginners. So I will be very step by step talking through this tutorial for you. This is just like the basics of the basics and just helping if you've never done makeup before to understand the steps to do to achieve this in literally 5 to 10 minutes. Like, it's the easiest makeup look ever and it is so effective, and I will be very in-depth talking about the brushes that we use, the products that we use, and just to help you if you are new to makeup know exactly what to get for your first makeup kit, as well as little tips and tricks that I've learned along the way to share with you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. I'd love to have you on board, and without further ado, let's jump into it. So I'm just going to show you absolutely everything from the very start, and the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you have a clean face. So make sure that you have washed your face and cleansed your face before applying makeup, because you don't want to be putting makeup over dirty skin. You can either moisturize, prime, or both, and this is the one that I love to use. This is the Smashbox Primerizer because it is a moisturizer and a primer in the one product, so it saves you from using two. Now the reason you want to have fresh skin, prime skin before putting on makeup is you want to have a nice base for the makeup to sit on. So essentially it's like when you paint a wall, you'll always prime it first. It's the same for your face, it's the same for painting a picture. You always want to make sure that the base underneath is smooth so you'll get the best possible results, and it is very important to invest in a good primer. But I do find that if you do not have a primer yourself, just moisturizing your skin is a good step too. So my mirror is just over here right now. It's just got a new mirror, so it's a little bit, I'm just trying to work out like the angling and stuff. All I'm gonna do is just give this a shake beforehand, and then I'm just gonna pop one pump on my skin and just rub it over. So now my skin is primed. You can see it's a little bit glowy, it's got a little bit more hydration. So you can see with my skin I actually do have quite a bit of acne. I've got some chilling up here at the moment as well. I don't really understand my skin at the moment, but it's not behaving very well, so I like to use a full coverage foundation right now just because it makes me feel a little bit more confident when everything is covered. So it's totally up to you if you want to go more natural, more kind of like full and crazy like I'm gonna do. But just as a comparison, if I was having more of a natural skin day, I would use something like a CC cream. This just basically makes it look like you have nice skin. So it doesn't cover everything, but it kind of evens out everything, and it's very natural. It's really good for like work and school because people can't tell that you're wearing makeup, they just think you have amazing skin. For me, I'm going to use a foundation. This one is one of my favorites. It is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation, and when it does come to picking your foundation, your CC cream, your BB cream, whatever you want to pick, always when you're in the store, match it to your neck, not your hand, because I wear fake tan obviously. So if I were to match it to my hand, then I'd have a white face and a brown neck and it just would look very weird. So I like to match things to my neck. So make sure to get color matched in a store, because you do not want to have the line of death when you have really light foundation and a dark neck, or vice versa. And now when it comes to actually applying the foundation, again, there's lots of different ways to do this. For me personally, I love to use a beauty blender. It is a little sponge like this that you put under the tap and you squeeze and it will actually get a bit bigger. And I find for me, this actually is the best way to apply foundation or liquid products. And you'll see that when I pop it on my face, I just bounce it onto my skin like that. I don't drag, I bounce it in, and I just feel like it gives the best kind of finish. It looks very skin-like. You can use a brush if you prefer, that's completely fine. I use either or depending on what I'm doing and what I feel like. You do always want to make sure that you're starting from the middle of your face and then working to the outside instead of the outside and then inwards. It's just so much better to do it that way. I personally like to actually like put the foundation on my face like that. Some people put it on the back of their hand, some people put it on like a tray or something. I don't understand that personally because I find that wastes a lot of product. So I just slap it straight on my skin. And then as you can see with this beauty blender, I am just bouncing it into my skin and then buffing it. And I just want to make sure that everything is blended. So I'm going to get in all the little corners, like the corner of my eye, in my nose, everything. And make sure that it's covering the whole face. So as you can see, the foundation is now on, and at this point I like to grab a little bit of concealer. This is the Rimmel Wake Me Up concealer, which I need right now because I hardly got any sleep last night. It was one of those nights I was tossing and turning and I was just like, ugh. So I need this right now. So when it comes to concealer, you probably see on YouTube or Instagram, whatever, you know, literally like concealer everywhere, all over the face. For me personally, I don't really contour that much, so what I like to do is grab a concealer which is about a shade or 2 shades lighter than my foundation. This one is actually quite a bit lighter, and I will just, almost in the form of a triangle, so I go across my eye, down my nose, and then kind of have that triangle there. I'll just apply that under my eyes. So I'm going to use that beauty blender once again, and I'm just going to go to the corner of my eye and then back in and then down, and then kind of blend this within the triangle that it is. You can't really see where it starts or where it finishes, and that is the #1 rule of makeup. You do not want to see lines. Everything needs to be blended, needs to look natural. So the reason why I do that is I find concealer underneath my eyes makes a lot of difference in terms of making me look really awake. But as you can see, I am looking quite shiny right now. So as soon as I put on some concealer, I will grab a loose powder. Now you can use any kind of powder you want, and you pretty much achieve the same effect with a loose powder or a pressed powder like this. So this one's just from Primark, it's £4, it's super cheap. And with this kind of powder, I would just grab it onto a brush and not a beauty blender. I would just tap that underneath my eyes. So that is one option, but for me, what I like to do is I grab a loose powder. This is the Too Faced Peach Perfect powder. You don't have to do this. This is just what I do, and I've done lots of things over time, but I find this gives me the best effect. So as you can see with the loose powder, I just tap the smallest amount into the tray. I'm grabbing my beauty blender again because it's still a little bit wet, and I can pick up that powder and then go over where we put that concealer, and I find that this gives me the best coverage. If I was having a really busy day where I knew I was wearing makeup for the whole day, I would just grab some more powder, maybe, you know, put it on my forehead. But for this, it's just, this is what I do if I'm just wearing makeup for a few hours. I like to save as much makeup product as I can. I don't like being wasteful with it, so I only just put the powder in the areas I feel are gonna look really shiny and need it. So that's all I would do for like my foundation and my concealer. And then after this step, I will do my eyebrows. Again, if you have fantastic eyebrows, I'm so jealous of you. Mine are a little bit sparse towards the end, so I just personally like to fill them in myself. So I know not everyone out there will need to fill in their eyebrows, and I'm very jealous of you. But I'll quickly show you this section just for those that do need it. Now when it comes to eyebrows, there's normally 3 different products that you can all kind of achieve the exact same effect with. The first one is the one that I normally use, which I probably will not use for this video because it is a little bit difficult. It does take some practice. This is a dip brow pomade. Now it looks very like bizarre, gross, and just dirty, but essentially I grab an eyebrow brush which looks like this. It's just a very flat brush with a spoolie on the end, which is what you use to brush your eyebrows into place, and I will just dip that in here, and then I will just almost draw my eyebrow on. Now that, I suppose if you are a first timer, is a little bit difficult. There's other options such as powders. My favorite powder is the Sleek brow kit. I just think it's the dark brow kit. What I started with actually was an eyebrow pencil. So you just use this to obviously go along and draw on the eyebrow. Now if you do actually have quite full eyebrows and you don't really need much except maybe a bit of a tint, then I would definitely recommend something like the Benefit Gimme Brow. Just a little brush like that which adds some dark fibers to your brow. So you're not like drawing your eyebrow on, but you are adding a little bit of darkness and depth and just tinting it temporarily so it looks dark and nice. So I'm going to use this powder here from the Sleek Makeup Brow Kit, and I'm going to be using an eyebrow brush with this too. So I will actually zoom you in because it'll be a lot easier for you to see what I'm doing. Woo! Now you can see my eye nice and close. So what I like to do is with my eyebrow brush, I will follow the natural shape of my brows. Just like that. And then I won't go like too far over how it is, and you can already see it's starting to like take the shape really well. And I do have an eyebrow routine which is more in depth. That will be in a card on the screen if you'd like to click on that and then come back to this video. But for this, I'm just going to show you very quickly. Start with a very small amount with a light hand and then add as I go. So brows are now on, and what I like to do at this point in time is grab a brow gel. This is just something which will keep my brows into place, because there's nothing worse than like one eyebrow hair being up and down and all over the place, and it's just a bit like, can you not? So this just makes it so that my hairs won't move, because I find that if my hairs are like up, down, everywhere, it's very obvious that my eyebrows are filled in. I like to bronze at this point, and I find that bronzing makes such a difference. When it comes to bronzers, you want to make sure you don't pick anything which is a little bit too dark. I'm using the Park Ave Princess by Tarte Cosmetics. As you can see, it's very similar to my neck shade, and I will just grab a brush. This one is just a Sephora Pro Airbrush 55 brush. I find this works really well for my cheeks. I don't do any sharp contouring or anything like that. I find that a little bit unnecessary for me. So what I will do is I will put my brush in the bronzer, then I will tap off the excess because we do not want to have streaky cheeks. And again, use a very light hand. Do not like smush it onto your face. Start from where like your sideburns are essentially. So I'm going to start all the way back here, and then I'm going to very lightly just do some stroke. So sort of where my eye ends here down, this is kind of the area I want to stop. I don't want to drag it all the way down here. So just with a very light hand, I'm just adding as I go. And then once most of the product has come off my brush, I will then very lightly drag it up to my temples and then just above my eyebrow. Now I like to do this because I feel naturally, if you have quite a bronzed face, it would go kind of from here to here. It wouldn't just be in one streak here. It just looks nice and glowy and natural and not too scary. Whereas on this side, it looks very different. It's very flat, there's no structure or anything like that. So this is why I bronze, and it also makes your face look slimmer. This side just looks really boring. Okay, so I'm feeling nice and bronzy and glowy, which is exactly what I want. And I find this makes your skin just look really healthy and just give you that nice like healthy glow. How many times can I say the same word? I don't understand. At this point I will add some mascara. Now it's a little bit overwhelming shopping for mascara because there seems like there's 5 million different types, and there really is 5 million different types. You've just got to try and see what works for you. There's some with like really big fat ones, like this is the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and that is quite a big fat wand. And then you can have other ones which are a lot smaller, like that. And to anyone else who's never done makeup before, you might be like, they look the same to me, but there's a difference, trust me. Now I would say for a beginner, my top 2 mascaras, which would be so good for you. Number 1 would be the, dropping on the floor, this would be the It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. This one is nice and thin, super easy to use, and looks fantastic. I'm just gonna pick up the other one off the floor, 1 second. Okay, and the other one is the Benefit Roller Lash. Now this is a little bit pricey for a first mascara, but it will literally last you so long. I've had the same tube for years and I use this a lot, so I would definitely recommend this. However, if you go to Sephora or anything like that, they pretty much always have the mini version of the roller lash, which is the travel size one. I actually find this is just as good. I'm gonna use the roller lash today on my lashes, and I will zoom you in and I'll show you. So when it does come to mascara, there is a certain way to apply it which will give you the best possible outcome. I've noticed in the past, like my nana and my mum, they would just use their mascara like this, where they just go like that constantly. Now that would take a long time for any product to transfer, in my opinion. What I do is I blink onto the mascara wand. So I'll pop it in my eye here, and then I'll blink down, and that covers as much of my lash as possible, and you can see just from that how much went on my eye. Another really good tip to get right in there is to wiggle upwards as you go. So if you blink, wiggle the brush, and then go up, it will give that really up high lash effect. And then I will just again make sure that all my lashes are coated, just like that. And it's totally your choice if you want to do your bottom lashes as well. I normally do only the very outside, and I just really lightly do it, just like that. The next part is something that I love doing. Once I started doing it, I couldn't stop because it just gives your skin the healthiest glow and just looks fantastic, and that is to highlight. Now we're going to do this very lightly, so we're not going to go like super overboard or anything like that. I'm just going to grab a highlighter. So this is by a brand called Hourglass. This is called the Euphoric Strobe Light. You can use any highlight that you like. I'm just going to grab a little brush like this. What I'm going to do is just tap my brush in it and then tap off the excess. And then you want to feel the highest point of your cheekbone, and you can see naturally I already have a little bit of a glow here. So that's where I'm going to focus the highlight on. So I'm going to be super, super, super light with my hand. And I'm just going to add a little bit of this strobe light onto my cheekbone. And you can see it just gives that really, really, really healthy glow. And I'm not going to drag it all the way up and down. I'm literally just dabbing it here. And that's it. So again over here, just top of my cheekbone, just adding a little bit more as I go. Then with any excess that's left on my brush, I will just pop a little bit on my cupid's bow there. And then just down my nose. This gives the illusion that my nose is straight. So I'll just add a little bit down there, and then finally, tiny bit underneath my eyebrows. So as we're keeping it quite natural, we're going to keep the lips quite natural too. You can do anything like just a lip liner and some Vaseline or some lip gloss, lip balm, whatever. I'm just going to grab a lip liner which is the same colour as my lip, and not to overdraw too much, but just to add some nice shape. I'm just going to fill in the shape of my lips. So lipsticks basically come down to stuff like this. So you can have a liquid lipstick which looks like that, and you just pop it on your lips. I find for me personally, I always use liquid lipsticks. They last through eating and drinking and everything and last the longest. They can feel a little bit dry and uncomfortable at the beginning, but make sure that you get one with a really good formula, and then you won't have that. And it's normally kiss proof. Just putting that in there in case you need to know that. There's nothing worse than wearing a lipstick and then kissing someone and it's on them, it's off you, and it's all just a little bit embarrassing. So, however, I kind of feel like as a beginner, I would prefer to use a lipstick. This one's by MAC, it's Velvet Teddy. It's like my favorite lipstick of all time. I used to wear this all the time when I started to wear makeup. So we're just gonna pop this on our lips, again, just following the shape of where we put the lip liner. And that is our makeup complete. So if I wasn't talking through this would normally take me about 5 to 10 minutes. It wouldn't take that long at all. So this is the kind of makeup that I would say is like your features but enhanced. I love this if I'm just feeling a little bit rubbish and then I have a face like this, I feel 10 times better. You can see all my acne and pimples are hidden. My skin just looks glowy, I look healthy, I look like I've just come back from holiday. So I love this kind of makeup look, and I also love that there's no eyeshadow or anything because it's just so wearable for everything. So I hope that you enjoyed and appreciated this kind of like talk through step tutorial, because this is definitely something that I had like my dad in mind. I was like, how would he feel if I like spoke to him about makeup? What would he want to know? So I hope that this helped you. If it did help you, please let me know because I would love to hear that, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So until then, bye.